We got 3 new abilities with the most recent update, which is actually pretty awesome because in the previous games new abilities were only part of the Season Pass expansions. They're also quite fun to use and have some hidden features that I want to talk about in this video. Also, of course, how you can best use them, how to get them, and way more. So as always, a like on the video would really help me out, and let's go. As announced, Kaylee won my previous giveaway and got the Gothic pack as he shared on Twitter, and I'm already doing a new Helix credit pack giveaway for 2,300 credits. You can enter via the link in the pinned comment, and these giveaways are only for subscribers of the channel. Good luck. Okay, let's start with the first ability, the Shoulder Bash you find in the second river, Severn. Maybe you already got it because it's very easy to find these abilities if you just look for the valve icon on the map that you will also immediately see upon opening the map. I found mine in the island monastery, but not sure if it's different for you. Again, just look for the yellow dot. So this Shoulder Bash ability is mostly for fun. Of course, you can push enemies off a cliff or into each other, and then the enemy that gets hit takes some damage, so they can die from it. Only the damage is really bad if you, for example, compare it to the harpoon, which can do the exact same thing, but way better. And of course also from a longer range. Like here we miss the Shoulder Bash, and then you see that the range is average, just not comparable to what you can do with the harpoon. And actually the Kick of Tear is another better alternative for this new ability. Especially on rank 2, because then it takes a really long time before the enemies get back up, so you can do the stomp skill 2 times. While pushing the enemies with the new Shoulder Bash does not give you the option to do the stomp at all. Like the enemies immediately get back up. So again, it's just fun to use. The cast time is not that long, so you can easily activate it and stay in the combat flow. But apart from that, it's not really worth using over other abilities. Okay, there's one extra use though. You can namely destroy breakable walls with it. So it's the first warrior ability that can do that. The other ability is of course the Incendiary Powder Trap, which is a ranged ability. It feels great to break these walls this way, so at least there's that. Now the other 2 new abilities are more interesting. Let's first go over the Battlecry that you find in the third map, River D, in the Cliffside Monastery. At least that is where I got it. So this is of course similar to the Battlecry of Ares that we saw in Odyssey, only less overpowered though, but it does have some other uses. For one, when you activate it, you kind of scare surrounding enemies and also interrupt them. So if the enemy is in the middle of an attack, you can parry, or even a red attack that you have to dodge away from, they will stop when you do this ability. And this then also opens them up for a nice combo, and this even works against the big standard bearer enemies that normally of course block all your incoming damage. So use the Battlecry and then you are easily able to hit them. And also when the Arbalist is reloading his weapon, you can stop their action thanks to this ability, so it can be pretty helpful. And on top of interrupting enemies, you also get a melee buff for 20 seconds after activating the Battlecry. And you see the countdown thanks to the icon of the ability, but as always with buffs to attack in this game, you don't really notice it. Like here I do 48 damage against this archer, and then I try to find the right time to do the Battlecry, and then I get the buff, but still do 48 damage to that same archer. While on paper you do see the pretty significant increase. Like if you look at the stat page from before the ability, Eivor here has 120 melee damage, and then if we look again after like activating it, you see that the melee damage was increased to 150. It's also kind of a hidden effect. Sure, they note that you get strength from this ability, but not like what that means. Well, it means 30 melee damage. Only as always with Valhalla, you suddenly just don't notice stuff like that. I really hope they take the time to properly balance everything, because many things are just meaningless, and it's such a shame. But more on that likely in an upcoming video. Let's for now talk about the third and final ability, the Berserker Trap, that can also be found in the third map, River D, and I found it over here in the Riverside Monastery. This one is a ton of fun to use because enemies hit by the trap will just go crazy, similar to the Berserker Blade from Origins. but now you can just sit back and watch the enemies kill each other or maybe more easily sneak past them. Like, this ability is especially great for stealth because enemies under the effect can still attack you, but will only really do that if you are close. Still though, using it in the middle of combat will let you get rid of some enemies because it does take some time before the effect triggers, after which they will likely attack each other. So it can totally cause some nice chaos when you are already fighting. And it is of course a trap, meaning that if you don't hit anyone immediately with the arrow, then it will trigger the moment enemies get close enough, just like the other traps in the game. And also enemies that are not hit by the attack will immediately start attacking the target that did get the berserker effect. They don't do a lot of damage to each other though, but that's maybe also because it's on the very hard difficulty. So yeah, it's just a nice way to distract soldiers, have them fight each other, which of course is also fun to look at. Because the downside is that the moment you join the battle and hit an enemy with the berserker effect, they will lose it. So you mostly just want to ignore them. Because also nice that when the effect is over, the enemy is still stunned for a brief moment before they return back to normal. Again, just a fun ability, not super powerful or anything, but just really cool to use. Especially because we did not have something like this in Valhalla yet, while it was in some of the previous games. It's also ranged and actually a trap that again can be activated later. So I think it's a ton of fun to toy around with. Let me know what you think of the new abilities in the comments down below. Maybe you found some other cool uses for it. I'm really curious, so drop it down. Subscribe for way more Valhalla content if you haven't already. A like on the video would of course really help me out. Don't check out my big video on the river raids and how to get the other new items too. You can watch it by clicking on the screen, or at the end of our photo mode showcase you can send over your shots via the JorRaptor hashtag on Twitter, or via my dedicated pictures channel on Discord, which you can enter via the link in the pinned comment. Accept the rules and then you are able to post. Okay Joyce, your turn. You selected 3 shots from the community, so I'm curious, which one did you select this time?
Hello. Let's start with Adrian MB over on Discord, who sent this close-up shot of Eivor aiming the Nodens arc at a target. Love that the creator used the Yule Festival armor to complete the hunter playstyle, including the helmet, which looks pretty cool in this picture. And wait, has the blood on the skull always been there? I don't use this helmet often. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, the normal Huntsman armor set doesn't have it, but for the Yule Festival they did add it. And what I really like about this picture is that he's using the charged shot, so that's why we see the 2 arrows. Really, really cool.
Next up, let's go to the River Raid theme with CP Chicken, who placed the chip in a foresty kind of area with the shadows of the leaves falling on the water and the crew. It's a really pretty and almost peaceful picture if you think about it. You know, with all the combat situations, Eivor and its jumps Viking jump into every time. Great shot.
Yeah, I love it as well.
And finally, we've got Swift Kick Gaming over on Twitter, who took a portrait-style picture of Eivor and her Jums Viking in the new St. George armor set. They look very powerful and ready for action. This must be the fully upgraded one, right?
Yeah, I think so as well. And because we see it thanks to the red hood. But yeah, a lot of people are saying, just a reskin of the Fane armor. And sure, it looks like that. But like, I love it. I think it's awesome that we got this for free. We'll have more thoughts on the river raids, by the way, very soon. So totally subscribe for way more Valhalla content. You can check out our previous video by clicking on the screen. And for now, we will speak to you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.